Hi, welcome to this course about photo documentation. We'll try to get into as much detail as possible, enough for you to have necessary knowledge to take professional-looking documentation photos by the end of this video. This course is divided into 3 sections. First, we'll start with the technical part about controlling your camera and exposure. Then we'll move on to different things to keep in mind in terms of composition. And finally, we'll conclude by editing photos so that by the end of this course, you'll be able to properly document your work. When you take pictures with your phone, they almost always turn out great. They are usually bright, contrasty, and have good color. There is also an auto mode in 99% of modern cameras, but putting your camera on automatic mode comes with a caveat. The camera decides everything and therefore limits your control over different aspects of the final result. For example, how blurry you want the background behind your sculpture to be, whether you want a person to have a motion blur in a gallery, or whether you simply want the settings to stay the same across different images so they look consistent. Photography, as its name suggests, is all about controlling light. The camera is a device that controls the amount of light that falls onto the sensor, which then translates it into electrical signal that is ultimately stored as a series of zeros and ones on your memory card. More light or more photons hitting your camera sensor means brighter pictures. We need to make sure that we set up our cameras so that there is just the right amount of light. This is done with 2 tools and a combination of them. Here I have a lens detached from the body of the camera. Notice how the iris of the diameter of this hole changes when I rotate this ring. Your camera might not have this ring. In that case, the diameter is changed electronically by the camera. This is called aperture, and it controls the amount of light that gets into the camera body. Time for a bit of mathematics. The aperture is not measured by the diameter of the hole in millimeters, but by an F number. F number usually looks something like this. There is some math involved here, but what you really need to know is that the smaller the number, the larger the aperture. So f1.2 is larger and therefore brighter than, let's say, f11. But by how much? This row of numbers follows a pattern. Each next number is 1.4 times larger than the previous one. So multiply 2 by 1.4 and you get the next stop, which is 2.8. Multiply 2.8 by 1.4 and you get 4. Each time you move on to the next stop, you cut the amount of light in half. So let's say you took a picture at f4 and you need to make it twice as bright. You divide 4 by 1.4 and you get 2.8. But what if you need it not twice as bright, but maybe 30% brighter? Then you would try something between f4 and f2.8, like f3.5, for example. There are complicated formulas for all of this, and you can find them if you really want to geek out, but practically speaking, all you need to remember is this. The smaller the f number, the brighter the image. The larger the f number, the darker the image. Now, an obvious question would be, if I have this lens with a maximum aperture of 1.2, why don't I just keep it at f1.2 and forget about it? Well, there are a few things to consider, and the most important one is the depth of field. There are times when you want several objects, or even an entire gallery room, to remain in focus. Depth of field is the distance between the closest and the farthest object in a photo that appears acceptably sharp. So if you want the background behind an object to remain sharp, you need to close down your aperture. If you want a blurry background, you open up your aperture. There is another way to control the amount of light, and that is by changing the amount of time the shutter speed remains open. It might seem like a picture is taken instantly, but in reality you can vary the amount of time during which the image is recorded. Take a picture for 1 second and your image might become too bright. Take it at half a second and you reduce the exposure by 1 stop, making the image twice as dark. Cameras usually display shutter speeds as fractions of a second rather than decimals. So 0.1 second becomes 1 over 2, 0.01 becomes 1 over 100, and shutter speeds can go as short as 1/8,000th of a second, which is extremely fast. Practically speaking, it can be difficult to take images at longer shutter speeds, like 1 second, half a second, or even 1/10th of a second. If your shutter speed is too slow, you might introduce motion blur, and that can be eliminated using a stable tripod. A general rule of thumb is that your shutter speed denominator should be larger than the focal length you are using when shooting handheld. For example, if I take a picture at 35 millimeters, I should use a shutter speed faster than 1/35th of a second, like 1/40th of a second, for example. There is another parameter that controls the brightness of the image, and that is sensor sensitivity, also known as ISO. As the name suggests, ISO measures how sensitive the sensor is to light. Here it's pretty straightforward. The higher the number, the brighter the image. You should avoid very high ISO values because they introduce noise. I have a 12-year-old camera and I usually keep the ISO below 800. So to recap, there are 3 ways to control exposure: aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Aperture controls not only the amount of light hitting the sensor, but also depth of field, and one needs to be aware of motion blur when taking pictures handheld or of moving objects. Our task is to find good exposure, but how? There is a built-in light meter that calculates the amount of available light, and the camera usually has several modes: auto, aperture priority, and shutter speed priority. In auto mode, everything is calculated by the camera. In aperture priority mode, you choose the aperture and the camera calculates corresponding shutter speed. Notice how the values for the shutter speed change while the aperture is constant when I change the available amount of light. In shutter priority, you choose the shutter speed and the camera calculates the aperture. So let's say I need to take a picture and I have no idea what kind of light I'm dealing with or what settings to use. I usually set my camera to ISO 200 and aperture priority mode, then I take a picture. I set the aperture to f4 because I know that my lens performs well at f4. It produces some artifacts at lower f numbers. Here the camera calculated a shutter speed of 1/50th of a second. I can judge the exposure by looking at the image, but a better way is to analyze it through the histogram. A histogram is a chart that gives numerical data about distribution of brightness values in the image. On the x-axis we have brightness values from dark on the left to bright on the right. On the y-axis we have the amount of pixels for each brightness level. So if your histogram skews to the left, it means there are more dark pixels and the image is darker. If it skews to the right, the image is brighter. The histogram also helps you to understand different areas inside the image. Here I can see that this area of the histogram represents the paper, since the paper is the brightest part of the image. The image is a bit too dark to my taste and the paper could be brighter. So I switch to manual mode and change my setting from f4 and 1/50th of a second to f4 and 1/25th of a second. Notice how the histogram shifts to the right. Now this bump represents brighter paper, while this bump represents the table. There is nothing to the right of this peak, which means the paper is the brightest part of the image and is not overexposed. So I could increase exposure even more and take the image at 1/15th of a second. Now the peak representing the paper shifted to the right, yet it is not at the very extreme of the histogram and is not overexposed, giving me room to adjust exposure later in post-processing. Yet when I look at the image, I see that the back of the paper is blurry and I would like it to be sharp. Remember, I took the photo at f4 and 1/15th of a second? Now I need to close down the aperture to have larger depths of field, yet I want the same exposure. To do that, I go from f4 to f8. When I do that, I close down the exposure by 2 stops. Since to get to 8 out of 4, I need to multiply 4 by 1.42 times. I need to compensate 2 stops of exposure from closing aperture by adjusting shutter speed. So 1/15th multiplied by 2 times becomes 1/4 of a second. This all means that I got 2 images with the same exposures shot with different settings. The pairs of f4 and 1/15th of a second and f8 and 1/4 of a second produce the same exposure and brightness, yet they have a different depth of field. One thing I realized while editing this video is how dense it could be for those who are just beginning with photography. So I would like it to make it as interactive as possible. So 2 things. Visp will be hosting together with me Q&A session online. More information on that later. And 2, I will be answering your questions in the comment sections, so please don't hesitate to ask any of the questions if you have any. And remember that by asking these questions, you will not be only helping yourself, but also you will be helping others who will be reading answers to these questions. A quick note about other camera settings. You should always read your camera manual. It usually explains not only how to change settings, but also the logic behind them. One thing you should always do is shoot RAW. RAW files come in different formats depending on the manufacturer, but they provide greater flexibility in post-processing. For example, when adjusting white balance, which is very difficult to get perfectly correct in natural light. Okay, so let's talk about composition when documenting work. What I'm going to say is debatable, but I would argue that there is nothing artistic or rather subjective about documentation photography. You, the artist, have already expressed the work. Your job as a documentation photographer now is to photograph it in the most neutral way possible. That means no crazy angles or dramatic perspectives. The documentation photo should provide an objective idea of how the artwork actually looks. I recommend looking and analyzing pictures at sites such as Contemporary Art Daily, where you can get a feel of how documentation photos are usually taken. So today I'll document two works, one two-dimensional drawing and one sculpture on a pedestal. I prepare my studio and place the drawing on the wall. I'll take 3 images of the drawing. First, an overall view that includes the floor to give a sense of scale, how the artwork is hung and its relationship to the viewer and the space. Second, an image concentrating on the work itself. And finally, the third image showing the detail of the piece. I'll place camera on the tripod so that it's level and parallel to the surface of the artwork. This provides a neutral perspective in the final result. I'll also keep the camera settings same so that all 3 images have consistent exposure and visual continuity. The same logic applies to the sculpture. I'll place the pedestal parallel to the wall behind it and take 3 images. An overall view showing the scale in relation to the room, a direct image of the sculpture itself, and a detail shot. Here I chose to use smaller aperture, f8, to achieve a larger depth of field, meaning both the foreground and the background remain sharp. Again, I position the camera parallel to the pedestal and the wall to maintain a neutral perspective.